All right, well, welcome to our class for this new week, February 18th through the 23rd, and we are talking about discussions and microblogging. And so these are the concepts that you'll be learning about. Of course, online discussions have been around for many, many years, probably since not too long after the advent of the internet. But microblogging, a newer concept, though it's been around for a while, I'd say. And basically discussions are that online you get together, you can discuss one concept back and forth with each other, and obviously this can support student learning as they collaborate and discuss new ideas with one another. And then, of course, microblogging is basically your ability to post a small amount of text, not a long text, but small amount of text onto a site, and that could be with an individual or a whole group or the public. And usually Twitter is considered the main microblogging tool out there. So of course you'll be reading about these concepts in the readings, textbook chapters 8, 12, and 13, and then also some online some online articles about best practices with discussion boards and tweeting for learning and critical analysis of research on microblogging and education. And so there's some pretty good actually research behind these tools, because it's not just about how do I do this? It's about what's the best practice for doing this? What are people actually doing with online discussions or microblogging? And this will help to enhance your ideas as you complete or think about completing a new assignment, this online discussion assignment. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Then there are some presentations for you to take a look at. These will show you how to use some of the tools that you might want to use for setting up discussions, like setting up and using Edmodo, getting started with Seesaw, how to use Twitter, or setting up a discussion in D2L. And you'll use these to complete an assignment that we'll be doing in next week, so on March 2nd. And then also this week there's a discussion on Twitter. And so you're going to think about Twitter. Imagine the possibilities for learners using Twitter as a learning tool. So again, a lot of times we think of Twitter as pretty lame. I think at least a lot of people have this idea of something like microblogging using Twitter as kind of pretty lame, where you just kind of post, I'm on the elevator, now I'm off the elevator, getting my coffee for the morning, whatever it is that's kind of lame. But how could we use it for something not so lame? How could we use it for an educational experience or idea? And so anyway, keep in mind the 280 character limit. That's been enhanced, right? It used to only be 140 characters. Now you can use 280 characters in your tweets. What would the assignment include? What would you do for students? How would they learn through using Twitter? And think of them as the posters too. Try to get past the limitations where you actually have to have students with email addresses to be able to log into Twitter, and certain age groups, and some of those things. But think about how it could be used for some type of learning activity. How would they connect with each other, and how would learning happen? So post about that, an initial response by Thursday, then respond to 2 or more other students' posts by the end of the week. So those are the activities for this week, but what we're moving toward is an assignment due next week, and this is the discussion assignment. So again, like I said, this week you're going to learn about some online tools for supporting discussions as well as microblogging. And you're going to have to set up a discussion or activity online with Seesaw, Edmodo, or another discussion tool. You could use Google Hangouts, Google Plus Hangouts, Facebook, or another discussion tool that you have access to in an LMS or online. And choose a target group of learners and create a good discussion question or topic for this group. And then plan to follow the best practices for hosting a discussion that you have learned in this class. So you're going to learn some articles, you're going to read some articles and learn about best discussion practices. Follow those in your discussion. Now engage at least 2 other people in the discussion topic or question for about a week's time. So that's why I'm telling you about this now, because by March 2nd you need to have about a week's time of this discussion done. And you might want to start this out this week, right? It might give you enough of a cushion of time to get this done. So it's up to you, though, to help them. The other 2 people could be from our class or from outside the class, but it's up to you to help them get logged in and discussing, and make sure that by the end of the week there are main posts and replies from each person, and that you also participate in the discussion. And then after the discussion is over, you're going to submit a paper to me that provides a link to the discussion so it can be viewed online. Describe your discussion question or topic and the people who participated in it, and the best practices that you followed, and those are going to be from the articles that you read about discussions. And what about your discussion went well, and what would you improve upon for next time? So we're really trying to think about the learning experience of the discussion. Probably some of you, maybe most of you, have experienced discussions in which there wasn't a lot of activity or wasn't a lot of learning, or at least you didn't feel like there was. So let's get beyond that. Let's talk about how we can make sure we support quality learning in a discussion, and there's the rubric that you'll be graded on for this assignment. So of course I'm introducing this to you today because you're going to want to get started as soon as possible on this assignment. You're going to want to read about best practices for discussions, learn a tool to use for this, and get set up with a couple of people so that you can start that week off as soon as possible because it's due again March 2nd. And let me know if you have any questions about that assignment. But I think that's about all for this week then. But yeah, I would get started as soon as possible on the activities. And I'll go ahead and wish you good luck and happy President's Day.